So you're saying I should let Reaper die the next Monster Hunter co-op night? I'm not so sure about that though. Well, you make a good point. Yeah, okay. We'll see what happens. I'll take it into consideration, thank you. Hello everybody, welcome to Let's Chat, my weekly vlog series posted every Monday at lunchtime if you're in the UK. Also, Mr. Devil Joe says hello. There. He doesn't deserve to be in focus, he's very, very angry. If you didn't see, I got a bunch of blind box Monster Hunter figures. Recently I did an unboxing video, in fact you can see the rest of them there, so that's where I'm currently putting them because I have no idea where else to put them currently. Anyway, we're going to go through the comments on last week's Let's Chat and just generally have a bit of a chat. I have nothing in particular to talk about, although I am filming this on the day where the votes have been tallied for the UK's general election. I'm not interested in politics, I'm sure you aren't either, but it's kind of historic and also a little bit funny because it's a national election, so it's for who's in power for the UK, and in Scotland 99% of all the seats for the UK Parliament were won by the SNP, which is the Scottish National Party. So it's almost like Scotland is an abused spouse that doesn't know when to get out, because this is the party that for the last 80 years has been fighting for us to get independence and become our own country again. And yet last year, 55% of Scotland said no thank you to the SNP and to becoming our own country. And yet look at this, the SNP now have majority control of our say in UK affairs. I just find it very interesting. Like, as I say, it's not that I don't care about politics. I choose to be neutral so that I can just kind of watch how people act, and I'm interested in how things come out. But I know most people won't be interested, so I won't go on about it. Anyway, also thank you to the number of people who pointed out there's a mod, well, sorry, what's the word for it? An add-on for Firefox that makes YouTube turn black, and I love the black colour scheme, but also if I go to YouTube like I just did there, it flashed, yes, but I've not turned pale, I'm not a ghost. It's fantastic. I think it makes the site look better. I wish that YouTube just offered a black colour scheme by default. It looks better than the white in my opinion. But anyway, we'll go through the comments starting at the bottom. There's been quite a few. I mean, if you wanted to get another closer look at some of those Monster Hunter toys, just tell me, by the way, and I can bring them forward. They're very small, so, you know, that's my favourite one of the set. The Devil Joe that tells me to burn people. Anyway, the first comment was on the posting of my Let's Chat, as in, you know, the auto message that gets posted on my G+. And it's from Shattered Glass Optimus Premia, who says, Konnichiwa Flik Senpai. Hello to you as well. I'll thumb your comment up. I believe you are the one who said you were native Japanese, right? I think it was. I can't quite remember now. DRC97 left a couple of comments. MET helmets are pretty good. That's the brand of bike helmet I was showing off last time that costs way too much money. I've always worn helmets when on my bike, saved my brain case quite a few times. See, there you go. I'd love to learn a new language, but I was sort of put off by school teachers. Pardon me, if you could learn a martial art, what would you learn? The best one. Wall of text, yay, sorry. That's not a wall of text, believe me, I've had some wall of text comments. That is not a wall of text comment. I know what you mean about teachers putting you off language, plus in the UK at least, or yeah, I think it's everywhere in the UK, you are forced to learn one language for at least 4 years. And the choices for us in secondary school, which is the one after primary but before college, was French, German, Italian and Gaelic, at least up here. None of those I'm interested in. I took French for 4 years, I remember none of it because I was not enthused about learning it. The only reason I picked French out of those is because occasionally I went family holidays to France, so I thought it might have been helpful. It was not, as it turns out, but yeah, if they had done Japanese I would have been more into it. And it just, that shows. When you're young, you're at the peak age to learn things rather, not earn. But if you're not enthused about what you're learning, it won't stick. And I barely remember any French, and I have no interest in going back to it. And yeah, some of the teachers are bad. Or we just don't care. That's the thing. That's kind of like when I got disillusioned with education at that level. It's kind of like when I was smart enough to realise when the teachers were talking like shit to the students, they were being sarcastic or arseholes, but the kids didn't notice, but I did. And it started to make me realise, well, the teachers are just people as well. They're not always right. They're very frequently wrong, in fact. And I hated that I noticed this because it made me discredit what they were trying to teach me. But luckily then I went to college, and in college you're treated like an adult, and it was much better. College was fantastic. College, not uni, incidentally. There's a difference in this country. I think college and university mean the same thing in the US. But here you kind of go to college for a couple of years, and then you use what you earn there to get into university for 4 years. That's generally how it goes. I suppose in uni you're also treated like an adult, it's just that the atmosphere and the way they structure teaching is much worse. College is the good middle ground, and that's why I probably preferred that of all the types of education I've tried. But you didn't ask that, so anyway, the other comment you left was Flik's character surrounded by Giganoxies who are chanting one of us. That's not a question, that's a horrifying statement that will haunt me tonight. Moving on. Ashley Stoneman, for me learning French was best done in schools through grammar workbooks and being taught things. By the way, get used to a lot of these comments being about language, because last time I was being a nerd and talking about learning Japanese again. Which is still carrying on, by the way. On Wednesday of this week I did a few more hours of it. Very close to learning all the hiragana again. Anyway, where are we? The dog's mad at something. And then once I was good enough to read extracurricular stuff on the internet, like articles, Scribblenauts in conjunction with Google Translate is fantastic. Oh, that's a very interesting idea. Now I've started to close my door, so hopefully the dog isn't as audible. Now I've started to learn Spanish in my own time. Duolingo is great as it teaches you in steps and... Oh wait, hang on, that's the name of a training program. Duolingo. It teaches you in steps and builds grammar up at the same time. Although once exams are over I'll return to that. Kinda stopped at the minute. The danger is when you stop, even if you stop for a good reason, like in your case exams, in my case it was trying to focus on a retail job. If you let yourself get lax, you go downhill, and it's really hard to recover from that, so just be very aware of that. Mr. Trigger Happy says, Flik surrounded by Devil Joes. There's a theme of me being surrounded by monsters I don't like. Well no, that's not true, I like Devil Joe. Covering his ears from the music and screaming no, the copyright, the false copyright. Interestingly, the video of just fighting the Devil Joe didn't get claimed on, so maybe I fought and won enough times that they've now decided not to try and win against my channel. I hope that's the case. I think I maybe just got lucky, although I originally thought it was an automated false copyright claim from this company that thinks they own the music when they don't. Maybe it was manual, or maybe they have whitelisted my channel as well, I don't know. I kept on, anytime they were trying to fight me by issuing a false copyright claim, my defense was, Capcom's letting me do this, here's who you speak to at Capcom, you take it up with them. And that made them drop it every single time. So maybe they've given in, I'm not sure. Next time I fight a Devil Joe or a Darren Moran, we'll see if it was just a lucky thing that that video didn't get claimed, or if it is now just going to be safe. I hope so, because I like fighting Devil Joes. What did you say? I didn't say anything, don't worry about it. Orion2298, are you going to make any attempts at learning kanji? Most Japanese games have kanji in them. I hope to get to the point where I'm learning kanji. However, it is worth noting that if the game is rated for children, or not just adults, very frequently anytime something is written in kanji, above it in very small kana, it will be written in katakana and hiragana. It's the same in mangas as well. It's because when you're young, you might not learn the kanji, so they do that so children can still play along / read along. So if nothing else, I could get by with that. I'm not looking for 100% fluency, I think, as I said. I would just like some reading comprehension, enough to get me through a few games maybe. Now, Big Nick linked to a video, and I let it go through because I checked what the video was. It was Homer Simpson shouting "nerd," which is one of my go-to clips on YouTube anyway, so that was obviously in relation to me blathering on about Japanese stuff. So Dragonakis replied to Iron Paladin, who asked for some suggestions for a picture to draw, and you asked for a picture of my face on Chacha's body, which sounds bloody horrifying. What Iron Paladin actually drew was a mini comic of Kyumba and Ace Palico having an argument, then Chacha acting like an ass, and then both of them beating Chacha up. Unfortunately, he could only use his camera to take a picture, so it's not that readable, but I'll try and display it on the on the screen right now for you to kind of see. But that's the general gist of it. The Ace Palico and Kyumba are arguing over whose minion, or who owns the minion, in this case me. Chacha just says he's the best, and then they both beat him up. It's funny, it's cute. I liked it. He's also the same person who once drew Mr. Torg riding a Brachydios for me. Anyway, the next comment is from The Boy. It's TH3BHOY, which I assume means The Boy. Anyway, hey Flik, depending on which browser you prefer, there are numerous black YouTube options. Yep, I personally use Firefox, and you've linked to the exact same one that Dragonakis showed me, and I am now using, so I'm not that pale, although thanks to that being overly bright, just because of the camera, I guess, it's still making it seem worse than it is. Oh, there's a read more button. Thanks, and stay classy. I'll certainly try, although I'm not sure I'm particularly classy. Iron Paladin said the Scythe Ninja Gaiden 2 was pretty fun. I only played the first one, so I'll take your word for it. Oh wait, or did I try the second one? What was the second one on? I definitely played the first. Quite liked it. I don't think I played the second. I might have just saw Mads playing it. Anyway, 2 comments from Red Knight next. Let me redo this. A Cha-Cha with a Scythe versus a Cha-Cha using lightning magic. And a Kezu versus a Gignox. Oh, 2 different fights, so that's what you meant by your comment. Right, and also then you asked, will we see the return of Darkest Dungeon? So, do one thing at a time. Cha-Cha with a Scythe, Cha-Cha with lightning magic. I would say that Cha-Cha with lightning magic would win that. A Kezu versus a Giganox. I would say that the Giganox would win because of poison. And then your other question, will we see a return of Darkest Dungeon? Probably not, because they have still not updated the game in a very long time, and I would much prefer that they actually did that so that it wasn't as repetitive. If it had the last 2 final areas added, if it had the rest of the classes added, so it didn't feel like you were always using the same 2 variants, because there was only like 6 classes and 4 are taken at a time. They aren't updating as fast as I'd hoped, and much like the rest of the people I know who've been covering it, interest waned, both from the viewer's perspective and the player's perspective. I was doing the same thing over and over, that bored me, I didn't want to record that, and yeah, I could have grinded off camera, but as I say, the ending isn't in the game anyway, so what was the point? So, not right now, no. There's already too much stuff for me to cover right now with Isaac, Monster Hunter. Bloodborne is coming back. I still haven't started recording it at the time I'm recording this, because I actually had a mild case of food poisoning last weekend, on Sunday night, and into Sunday, Tuesday, and Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. Felt pretty rotten. So, I didn't want to record while I was, you know, a new series when you have to try and sound exceptionally enthusiastic. I don't want to do that while I was feeling shit. So that's what slowed me down. I am expecting to start recording Bloodborne New Game Plus this weekend, so that'll be coming back, and my upload will start getting strained all over again. So no, there's no room right now. I also have a bunch of games I want to cover for Let's Look At. As for Hours Of, I haven't done one since Killing Floor 2. I was considering doing one on Nuclear Throne just because I'm quite enjoying playing that for patrons at the moment and wouldn't mind putting another video out for everybody. I think I'm getting better at it. I'm getting further more consistently, so I guess we'll see how people react to that. I might do it because the file size for that would be small. It's not a visually, you know, it doesn't even take up the whole screen. It doesn't have proper resolution options yet. So I went off on a tangent again, but your question, Darkest Dungeon returning? Most likely not, unless they actually update the game. In a significant way, might I add. Matsamuni says, don't give up Skeleton. I already thumbed that up by accident, because I saw it come through, and just by reaction, anytime I see that, it's just, oh yeah, I'll have to rate that up. Didn't pay attention to what video it was posted on. Reaper says, for the art, I think Cha-Cha invading other games would be awesome, like Cha-Cha holding a bomb next to my mage character from Dark Souls 2. The bike looks nice, pictures you took were awesome as well. He's talking about the ones of the scenery I took, so if you're interested in Scottish scenery, look on my Twitter and there's a bunch of pictures from bike rides. On the rare days where it's sunny, not rainy like today. Your phone case is awesome, where did you get it? See any good movies lately? What's the difference between a mage and a wizard? Be sure to show your work. The difference between a mage and a wizard is that wizards are ponces. I don't need to show my work, that's what the Harry Potter films are for. Phone case, where is it? Hang on, there it is. I didn't mean to show it up, but that's my current phone case. It's a Dark Souls 2 one. It is not official merchandise. I got it off a fraudulent seller on Amazon. Namco Bandai do not make phone cases that good. That is just an official screenshot turned into a phone case by someone who doesn't care for copyright, and I snapped it up because I like that a lot. It looks like my character from the New Game Plus, well, all the PC playthroughs up until Scholar. What was the other question you said? Seen any good movies lately? Yes, I recently watched the first 2 Captain America movies. The first one was silly and cheesy and hilarious thanks to Hugo Weaving's attempt at a German accent. The second one I thought was just a good movie. So those are the most recent movies I've watched. And I'm still going to get around to seeing Pacific Rim. I've had that DVD for 2 years and still haven't watched it yet. I will though, I promise. No new movies though. Is that all your questions? Yes it is. 2 more to go. Nicodemus82, I'm pretty sure Sticky Study Kana app was only like $2. I think you may have looked up the Kanji app. It's also possible that just on the European store they're charging more because because I will look into it though. Although the flashcards are working, so I'm trusting in those flashcards. Just every so often, if I'm waiting for a video to render or whatever, I'll just grab them and just go through them, shuffle them, do it again. It seems to be working, so I don't want to touch wood, etc. But my number one tip for learning Japanese or any language is to immerse yourself as much as possible. Obviously, the best way to do this would be to go to Japan. Yeah, I won't be doing that anytime soon. However, if that's not possible, there are some alternatives. Watch Japanese TV shows and movies. Well, I did that. I don't really have time for it these days. Listen to music. That I do. Read Japanese books or manga. I do have some Japanese editions of the Naruto manga over there somewhere. That's how I know that if they write something in kanji, they write the kana above for younger people. Turn your PC and phone languages to Japanese. Not comfortable with that one just yet. This one will help you greatly because there's things you use every day and it kind of forces you to learn. Oh wow, I didn't actually realise this is a massive comment. I just pressed the read more and a whole page appeared with lots of links I'm going to have to read. The number one thing to do to help you improve is, like I mentioned in my last video, actually talking to native speakers. You'd be surprised how quickly you pick up the language by doing so. I know it can be quite intimidating, especially if you feel like your level of language is nowhere near good enough. Yeah, I feel like that so far. But don't let that hold you back. I first started talking to native Japanese speakers, some of which didn't speak a word of English, when I only knew hiragana and some katakana. And yes, it was difficult at times for sure, but somehow we'd still be able to maintain the conversation. And at the end of it, you'll be able to pick up much more fluent ways of speaking that you can never learn from a book. That's true. I would like to get to that level, but I know this is bad, by the way. I know it's really bad and you shouldn't do this, but I hate having to rely on help to do things. It's just the way I am. I prefer being able to handle things myself, and it is not a good way to do things at all. Believe me, do not think that trying to do everything yourself is a good way of doing things. It's not, but it's the way I am. I guess it's partly because I don't like taking orders, so I want to do everything myself, my own way. In regards to learning a language, I'm learning on my own time in my own way as well, which is, I might not be using the most optimal ways, and I agree that native speakers is probably the best way to do it. I don't have that luxury, and talking to strangers with a language I don't really understand that much, it would be embarrassing. I would find it embarrassing to do. Eventually, maybe. I don't mind if I never get to the point where I can fluently speak it. I imagine speaking the language with my accent sounds hilarious to a Japanese person anyway, because I can't change my accent, so even if I'm speaking a different language, it's still going to affect the way I pronounce things. So I might not ever get to that point. I wouldn't mind just being able to read it or do little translations, that kind of stuff. It doesn't even need to help me in my daily life. That said, you have linked to a lot of stuff, including the sticky study. Oh, and actually, we can test this. It's going to make my face turn pale because Apple loves making all their websites white as well. Let me see what price it says, because it should load up in my language, right? So it'll be UK price. Oh yeah, it is. No, wait, no, this is the American version. $1.99 in dollars. So hang on, if I change to UK. Let's change to UK. Where's the UK button? Why did they hide it down? Alright, here it is. Europe, UK. Will it go back to this? It didn't. Hang on, if I put it into a bloody sticky study kana. Loading results. No results. No, I didn't mean kana with an H. That makes no damn sense. Stupid website. Hang on, I'll do a space between sticky and study. No results. I give in. I spelled it correct. Anyway, you've also linked to the dictionary and also a few recommended apps. I prefer having physical copies, although I do agree that I had a good game on the 3DS actually that was helping with my Japanese study. Right now I prefer doing it old-fashioned, as if I was in school, by working from workbooks and things like that. Pardon me, I guess it just reminds me of when I was learning stuff in school, and that's why it works. I agree though that if you can get by on apps and things, there's a ton of great ones. I'll have a look at the links you've done though. Mirai Japanese. Doesn't Mirai mean future? So that means future Japanese? I think so, because I remember saying that in a Dragon Ball video, and then all the people only familiar with Dragon Ball in American like, what does he mean Mirai Trunks? What does that mean? Doesn't he mean future Trunks? Anyway, getting distracted. I'll look at the links though. Oh, sorry, I'm getting distracted reading them right now. I will look at them right after I do this last comment, in fact. So Evolution 13, 2 days ago, was the last comment. Also, I just realised it's the well, it's technically not the first Let's Chat of the month, but it is the first one where I've processed all my Patreon stuff, so I've got shoutouts to do. We'll end on that after I do this last comment. I should have the list on my desktop. Anyway, Evolution 13. In my opinion, you can have all the resources, but if you don't strive to learn the language, it's pointless. In other words, if you don't have the drive to, the enthusiasm to actually want to be doing it. Growing up, I probably had the best resources. I grew up around native speakers and was raised by one. They also tried to teach me with books, like the ones I showed off, but they made worksheets. But like you said, if you have any young viewers, it's best to learn it young. After the 20 plus years I've been around, I still haven't made an effort into trying to write or learn the Korean language. So don't give up if it starts to get tough. That's pretty much what I did. You have the resources, plenty of support from subscribers, and the only tip I can give you is repetition. Yes, repetition is the key to everything. Everything. If you can't do something in a game, learn it by doing it over and over and spotting where you're going wrong and evolving your playstyle. It applies to everything. Repetition. Learning an instrument. Repetition. Again. Like spending 15 to 30 minutes a day focusing on new characters over and over. That's what I'm doing. Every week I'm introducing new kana and then making sure I can, within like a second of seeing it, just kind of flip through the flashcards and say what they are. There's a few that kind of every so often get muddled up in my head, so that's why I'm still sticking with just the ones I have so far, but it'll work for me if I just do it over and over and over. Oh, there's a read more button, I didn't notice. That's the only thing with this black layout, it's harder for me to spot that button actually. Not sure what your schedule is, but that's my tip on learning almost anything. Yeah, 1 day a week, but every so often during any given day, just taking a minute to try and go through those. That's what I'm doing and it's working so far. I agree that watching TV shows and movies will help you with the pronunciation of words, but if you know anyone whose native language is Japanese and can speak proper English, I would get in touch with them. I don't know anyone personally. By the way, if anybody who listens to these wants to not challenge me in the way of, you know, making it difficult on purpose, but if you want to write something in kana and I will try and translate it, that would actually help. I'll probably do a piss poor job of it, keep that in mind, but it would actually help me, so if you wanted to do that, that would be great. But anyway, yeah, that was the last comment. So let me just go back to my desktop, which is actually brighter than my new YouTube layout. Where is my notes on Patreon stuff? There it is. I apologise for doing this at the end and not the start, but I entirely forgot because I was focused on doing that shtick with Mr. Devil Joe. Let's have Mr. Devil Joe say thank you to everybody. So, Mr. Devil Joe would like to thank the following people for supporting Flik on Patreon. Carneres, Coulson McDonald, Yuki, Apropos of Nothing, Dragonakis, Terravolt. I'm making him do that every time because it's making it like he's talking, but really his mouth is there. Michael Smith, Moose, Thaxton, otherwise known as Thaxar, Nick M, who, well actually, oh yeah, that's the other thing. Oh, hang on, let me get through this list first. Grant Doty, Michael Millward, Amy Spain, Ryan Sarua Reaper, Fraser Macbeth, Casper MH, James Kilgore, Terrell Smith, the newbie, and that one guy with the face. Look into my mouth and despair. So yes, as I was saying, the person who won Bloodborne, well actually I had to go through 3 people because the first 2 very politely declined because they already had the game. The person who eventually won it was Dragonakis. He accepted it, and he is using it as a means by which to push him to actually buying a PS4. And he may stream from it, I don't know, so that's good. I wish I had more ways to thank the people who support me. I'm always looking for ways with spare keys, etc. that I can give you. And I'm hoping to, you know, do more in the way of exclusive videos if I ever find the time to actually get into playing with RPG Maker more. I also noticed actually there's a make your own visual novel game on Steam, and I think I could do some really funny stuff with that, although I don't think it has like literally any assets, so you would have to find an artist, but I think I could do some silly stuff with that would be quite amusing. Anyway, thank you for your support, patrons. I apologise for doing this at the end rather than the start, but that's going to do it this time. We're about 25 minutes. I've got some more recording to do. Look out for more Let's Look Ats and the return of Bloodborne soon, I promise. Just something, you know, I was planning to record it last weekend. Something came up. This weekend I should hopefully start. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I shall see you next week. Ta-ta for now.